All right, let's go to the mailbag from there. We have some people very in their feelings at the moment. I believe over a clip we posted yesterday about nationalism, national conservatism, when we were responding to some of the remarks made at that conference last week.
Our whole segment, really, all the clips pissed a lot of people off. So we really upset some nationalist conservatives with our coverage, but we're gonna react to some of their comments because some of them were nasty, some of them were funny. Somebody replied to one of my clips where I said I was objecting to it on free speech grounds, saying eradicating wokeness is not something the government should be doing. And they said, you're obviously just scared because you're a homosexual atheist, and the only thing you worship is the dollar. I wouldn't call myself an atheist. Definitely a homosexual. I wouldn't say I worship the dollar, actually. I kind of make choices in my life that it's like if all I was pursuing money, I would be making very different choices. It's really not the move. But I think the reason I'm scared is just because I'm someone who values free speech and individual liberty. And they're saying we're going to force people to believe in what we believe. And I don't think that's cool. It doesn't really matter whether I was, a social conservative Christian or gay, a homosexual atheist. Either way, like that's just not good on the principal grounds. I don't know.
Yeah, I think there's good cause to be concerned over that. Another person said to me, if I didn't know this person was a DC libertarian, I would assume that their resistance to them based on how they talk. Baby, I'm not a DC libertarian. Have never lived in DC. It's so funny. People always think I'm a DC libertarian because I'm successful. And I'm like, actually, I'm just a badass that managed to make it from like BFE in the South. Like, get over it. But no, I hate this thing like DC libertarian. Like, baby, we need more DC libertarians, okay? There's nothing wrong with somebody being a DC libertarian. Like, please, more people go infuse that town with libertarian beliefs. But what they actually mean by this is like, there's this weird perception by the like grassroots on the right that people who live in DC and who are libertarian are like woke and elitist and like not with them. And it's just, I don't think you've ever been to DC because I know most of the DC libertarians and they're pretty base. They do pretty good work up there. So
there's also just not a lot. They're like DC, the libertarian think tanks control everything. And I'm like, not even close. Like they have never been less impactful in terms of what the current government is doing than the last 5 years or so. So also like the DC regime, libertarian, blah, blah, blah. What they just really mean is that you're not like a fringe internet troll is not your aesthetic, right? And what makes them view us as establishment is just the fact that we view things like civility and respect as important values, honestly, and that we're not into trolling. That's all they really mean, because the policy differences between a DC libertarian and the podcast libertarian that they love are not large, really. It's more of just an approach that they love, the edgelord, ad hominem approach, and the kind of more civility, compromise, discussion, debate approach is something they've come to ridicule and despise. I also just think it's hilarious because you literally have never lived in DC. I've lived in DC, so you want to call me a DC libertarian? Okay. But this next one is more Jewish propaganda from the two of us. And I'm like, what? Neither of us are Jewish.
little anti-Semitism sprinkled in, always great. People think the anti-Jewish people always think I'm Jewish. I maybe because of my name, I don't know, but I'm like,
pretty sure I've been placed on lists of like Jewish journalist rhinos, and I'm like, based on what?
I'm like, my dad's Baptist. Oh well. But go ahead and out yourself. Somebody else said there's virtually no evidence that conservatives want to force others to conform. No evidence? It's the left that wants to use government power to force its agenda. Not sure how you could reach that conclusion. Well, I think we could reach that conclusion because we actually follow public policy and read the bills, and I can assure you there are certainly a number of ways that conservatives are currently working to use the government to force their agenda on people, both through very anti-free speech bills, very anti-market bills, specifically those going after big tech, using the government power to go after companies that don't act the way that they like. We could go on and on here.
But also, we were literally responding to a conference where they said, we need to use the government to push our idea of the common morality. Literally. This is their own words, what they want to do. I think this person just hopped in without a lot of context. And it does bug me when people comment without even taking time to read the article or watch the full video or whatever, because then, this next person says, y'all are a psyop. And I'm not quite sure what that means. Does that mean like we're like, what's the word? Staged opposition or something?
I don't get into the conspiracy theory Twitter.
I think the idea is that we're like propped up to be like the token opposition. So we're like probably paid by like the Democrats or whatever to just give like a feckless symbol of opposition that they can pretend to have and then just run over. I don't know. That's the...
What if the Democrats actually did pay us to come in and just defeat conservatives with like basic nuance and constitutional values and holding to capitalist views? And they were like, this is a psyop. These people are coming in and pushing back on conservatives, these elements. Like, if that's the Democrat strategy to defeat you, you should be really worried about the camp you're in. Like,
I would take the money too. I mean, I don't give... But okay. We're not getting it, so...
Where's that psycho
next
money?
Person, and I want to talk about this because I hate this. They replied to you and said, repeal the 19th. And you get this a lot from the edgelords. This is the 19th Amendment to the Constitution, which gave women the right to vote. Hannah, what do you think?
They think it's going to like get under my skin, and I don't care. I don't know. The feminist attacks like never really hurt me. Like, I know I'm so much smarter than you. I know I'm a better voter. Like, it's cope and seethe. It's not going anywhere. You lost that. I think these are men who like just desperately wish they could have women under their thumbs again, like, because they're never going to be successful with women otherwise. That's my
sad. I mean, this guy has a profile picture with what looks to be a daughter, and I'm like, that makes me. We won't show his name. Well, it's just an alt name anyway. But I just think,
of course,
to me, this is like a troll thing that they do. They reply to women having what they think are an opinion they disagree with and say, repeal the 19th. I mean, think about how messed up that is. That would be like a black person saying something you disagree with and you say, repeal the 13th, right? Like, that which banned slavery. It's just so messed up. It's not edgy. It's not funny. It's not countercultural. It's just sexist, literally.
Right.
And desperate. It's like...
And it's because you can't argue with me, right? That's kind of why it's funny. I'm like, it's kind of an L on you. You can't debate me. You can't defeat my arguments. So you just want to take away my ability to speak. Sorry, you're so incompetent. Like, I don't know what to tell you. It's not going anywhere, so maybe get better at arguing if you actually...
Only incels tweet this. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Only.
Yeah. And this person says, there is no creepier ideology than libertarianism. And I don't... Like, explain this to me. Wanting to leave people alone and let them run their lives and do what they want is creepy.
Yeah, because these people want to come in and control you and make you live exactly as they want to, and they're really scared and creeped out by people who maybe want to live differently than them. That's the gist of it.
I don't get it. Cannot relate.
This person said, base politics, you're a woke liberal. I agree that nationalists don't always appreciate some of the good points about capitalism as well as they should, but we have bigger problems right now. Bigger problems than defending capitalism? Sir, what? Like... Oh, what are the bigger problems? Gay people are getting married? That's your bigger problem? People have pride flags in their yard? Like, no, we don't have bigger problems than capitalism being under siege. That makes absolutely no sense. And if you can't tell the difference between us and woke liberals, probably take a pause on your political involvement. You're just not quite there yet. Go kind of understand the ideologies a little bit more in depth, and then come back and we'll have a conversation.
Woke liberals literally despise us, especially
hate us. Yes, like hate, like won't even like have a conversation. No.
Yeah, no.
That is not it. All right. And then the last person said, well, based on the replies, it appears you struck a nerve with nationalist spot on take. And I will say this, when you see this kind of like screeching, we did hit a nerve. We were accurate, I think, in our assessment of what they're trying to do. We were accurate in calling out the fact that people don't want this and that comes from a creepy place. And if that triggered you, maybe examine that and figure out why it triggered you. Because if you didn't think it was true, you probably wouldn't be all that upset.
Yeah, people got really in their fifis over this. And I think it's because they felt attacked and because we were over the target, shall we say. Yeah. So this last comment is not from the nationalism segment, but I just thought it was funny. Somebody said, Polumbo Cox 2024. Literally unconstitutional.
Yeah, he can't.
You realize how old do you have to be president? Wow, I feel like an idiot.
35. Wait, can we flip it? Can you be vice president?
No, to be president, you have to be, to be vice president, you have to be able to be president. So you have to be 35. So in 2020.
Neither of us are able.
Yeah, neither of us would be able to be either. So keep wishing. Sometime
soon, maybe we'll see down the road. But we appreciate your support.
Would you ever run for president?
No, but I would be your vice president if you ran. Because vice president's kind of clutch. Like, it's mostly like a figure state kind of. You go to a lot of dinners. You know, I love a cocktail party. You get to travel internationally.
You would not be a good vice president, though, in a good way, because you're too, like, you have to basically just be a doormat, right? And, like, you have your own beliefs, you have a voice, you stir up controversy. Like, a vice president is really supposed to just be, like, quiet and smile for a photo op and go to a funeral. And it's like you would be like upstaging the queen at her own funeral. Like,
personality wise, I would do better in the president role, and you would do better in the vice president role because you don't like being extroverted and going to these kinds of things and like smoozing. But I don't think I could take the heat for being president. I would get so fed up with people, like how you just have to be so nice to everybody and turn the other cheek. Like I don't think it's my thing. Honestly, I'm too upfront. So we'll leave that in the wings for now.